You know, when you look at Tom Cruise's resume of movies, he has this, well, excluding, you know, The Mummy, Night and Day, and probably the second Jack Reacher, he has a habit of making these movies where they could be really bad, but when you add his Tom Cruise charisma and dedication to these roles, he just makes them very surprising and better than you honestly think they're going to be. For example, Jack Reacher, for me, Collateral, because I didn't even hear of that movie until maybe 2 years ago, and it's absolutely incredible. And American Made, like, he has this streak of just making movies where they're a lot better than they're supposed to be. And guys, I think this time he's really outdid himself. He not only has he given us a sequel that nobody asked for, he gave us a sequel that nobody knew they needed. And let me explain something to you guys. The world needs this sequel badly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Top Gun Maverick. Danger Zone! Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and this is my review for Top Gun Maverick, directed by Joseph Kosinski, and stars Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, John Hamm, and Glenn Powell. And our story takes place probably present day, you know, years after the very first Top Gun. We find our Maverick still in the Navy. He's still a captain. He's just comfortable where he is. And the Navy gives him an ultimatum. Essentially, it is leave and be done with the Navy for good, or follow your orders, go back to Top Gun, and train this elite group of fighters to go on one of the most daring, explosive, most dangerous missions any pilot has ever been on, including himself. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you from the opening frame of this movie until the very last shot and the credits are rolling, your eyes are not only stuck to the screen, your butt is glued to your seat, and your body is in all sorts of turning awe, because this movie makes you feel every single take. You feel every emotion that these characters feel. You feel every turn in your stomach when these people are flying, when they're going through their routines. You feel everything in this movie. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you I walked out of this theater knowing immediately this was the best movie I've seen in 2022 so far, hands down, it's a runaway. It's not really a contest. Tom Cruise outdid himself, and I have been completely shocked. I've been floored. I've been I'm over the moon about this movie. It's in my head, my brain is like pumping huge, because this movie just sticking there, and it's replaying itself over and over and over with every incredible shot, every incredible flight scene, every incredible dialogue that we went through with this movie. I mean, guys, this is one of the best sequels of all time. Tom Cruise absolutely killed it. And if you haven't already, seen by what I'm expressing now, there's nothing wrong with this movie. So I'm just going to get to everything that I liked about this movie, and we're just going to have a great time talking about it, because guys, I love this movie so much. So, of course, I have to start with the man himself, Tom Cruise. But before I get into that, look, this movie was one that, I really didn't feel like needed to be made. I didn't think, Top Gun needed a sequel. It's crazy, because the only reason I ever saw the first movie was because I told my dad I wanted to be a pilot. And, of course, that didn't happen. But he happened to have a copy of Top Gun on tape, and I watched it, and I actually had a really good time watching it. It was actually an amazing movie. I didn't think it'd be that good. I didn't really want to be a pilot after it, but I thought it was absolutely an incredible movie, and it's led me to, having a good, really good appreciation for that movie. And I really didn't think, a sequel was needed, or at least I didn't know how a sequel would go. Plus, this movie got pushed back so many times. I really thought it might have, either got the Morbius effect, or just, any other effect, or it just really wasn't as good as the studio was hoping. That's what was really worrying me about pushing this movie back so much. And there's your worries go away in all the first 5 minutes, if we're being real. Like, for me, my worries went away once the opening credits started. It's literally the exact opening credits from the first Top Gun. Like, you feel everything from the original. They let you know immediately, we are going back to Top Gun, and we are going to have the time of our lives while we are here in this theater. And Tom Cruise, ladies and gentlemen, he is electrifying. Tom Cruise absolutely kills this role. It's incredible to see him come back into this role after so many years, and it's like he never left. He plays Pete Mitchell far better than he did in the first movie. Everybody does everything in this movie far better than they did in the first movie. Essentially, well, this is a fairly brand new cast, but all the returning cast members do just as good as they did in the original movie, and the new cast members do even better. I loved everything about Tom Cruise in this movie. He is an absolute stuntman. He's the closest thing I think we're ever going to get to a superhero, like, because to be his age, still doing this, still running the way he is, still doing all these death-defying stunts, it's like, dude, you are an absolute crazy, you are a madman, because how are you still doing this at this age? And it's crazy because before this movie played, the trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 came up, and I think that got everybody's blood pumping for Top Gun, because that trailer is incredible. And another thing about, Tom Cruise's incredible performance. Look, there's a lot of emotion in this movie, and it's fairly, due to the fact that he has to deal with his relationship with Goose's son, Rooster, played by Miles Teller, which I'll get to in a second. There's a lot of emotion that has to be captured. And honestly, it's not only because of that, it's just a great character arc story for Maverick, because he's going through this motion where he's comfortable where he is. He really doesn't want to do much else but fly these planes here. He doesn't necessarily see himself as a leader. He just sees himself as the rule-breaking pilot he's always been, the same guy we saw in the original movie. And this film right here asks for him to grow more, in a sense of he has to, teach these kids his ways. He has to teach these kids how to survive and how to, more importantly, how to come back home. And I just can't praise his performance enough. I gotta be real. He should be nominated for this performance. Like Tom Cruise is somebody who I feel like is like an NBA young boy in a sense, or like a Drake, where he's just in the acting world, where he's just put into his own category, because nobody really gives him the props he deserves for these acting roles he's done. Like, he's given us so many memorable lines, so many wonderful movies over the years, but I feel like he doesn't get the credit he truly deserves, like the DiCaprios or the Christoph Waltzes, or, the really big name, like the Afflecks, the Damons. I don't feel like Tom Cruise really gets the praise he deserves for being the actor he is. But this movie is probably a top 3 performance of his. Like, acting-wise, like not even the physical stuff, acting-wise, Tom Cruise brings all of it to this movie, and it's incredible to see. Now, the entire cast in this movie was absolutely phenomenal, but one person that I really needed to shout out is Miles Teller. One, I've missed Miles Teller. I haven't seen him in a movie in I don't know how long. Honestly, I think I want to say it was a little bit after. I want to say I haven't really seen much of him since Fantastic or Fantastic Four, whatever you want to call that garbage fest of a movie, but essentially I haven't seen much of him since then. And honestly, if he's taking breaks like this to give performances like this, if he's taking breaks like that to give performances like this, hey, by all means, go ahead, because he brought whiplash dedication to this role. He absolutely kills it as Goose's son. Not only is he a spitting image, but the chemistry that he has with Tom Cruise in this movie, and the relationship that they have to, get throughout the movie to deal with, what happened to Goose in the past, it's absolutely incredible, man. Miles brings his all to the screen, and I absolutely adored everything about this character, Rooster. And honestly, man, Miles Teller just has it. Miles Teller is such a talented actor. It was such a joy seeing him on screen again. I had a lot of fun with his character. And honestly, it's great to see them having a lot of fun. There is not a single person on screen who is being left behind in the sense of acting, in the sense of having fun. Everybody is on one accord. This movie is literally a single beautiful melody, a note. It's just flowing very smoothly, because there's not a single thing you can point out in this movie. Well, for me at least, there's not a single thing you can point out in this movie that you felt like was out of place, that you felt like didn't need to be there. You didn't feel like any of the actors were misplaced. You didn't feel like anybody shouldn't have been there. Everybody played their roles well. Everybody did phenomenal. I can't praise this cast. I can't praise this cast enough, guys. Like, shoot, John Hamm always does a great job. But Glenn Powell, shout out to Glenn Powell, because he was originally on Scream. Well, that's where I know him from. I know him from Scream Queens, but he absolutely has just grown into his own. And I love to see him getting more roles, man. He's a very good actor, and he does a very good job. He's kind of like, the Iceman character in this movie. His call sign is Hangman, and he does an absolutely great job of just portraying, a dick, and he just does a great job. And it's just, I'm probably gonna stumble over great job, phenomenal, those kind of words. I really got to find more adjectives. I'm going to, break open the dictionary after this video and just go ahead and find other adjectives for good and great and phenomenal and electrifying, all those words, just so I can tell you guys anything else about, these characters. But guys, I just can't say it enough. Like, everybody did phenomenal. And I haven't even gotten to the flight stuff yet. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. So I feel like it goes without saying, but of course I'm going to say it anyway. This movie needs to be seen on the biggest screen possible. I mean, I feel like seeing this screen on anything but an IMAX, a 40X type screen is a disservice to not only yourself, but a disservice to this movie, because you feel like I said, the opening frame, you feel everything that this movie is trying to give you. Another thing I'm thoroughly impressed with this movie, when it comes to, movies that people aren't necessarily like interested in the topic, like, when it's a movie about science or a movie about like, like the government or things like math and things like that, and they put like elements that everybody's not really, familiar with, some kind of elements become confusing for people. If you're not into flying at all, that doesn't even matter, because this movie lets you understand what's going on. They're describing to you what you're kind of supposed to feel when you're in the plane, when you're making shifts and turns and doing things like that. And it does. And from the very first flight that Tom Cruise takes in the beginning of the movie, you feel like he's trying to, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but what he's trying to do, you feel that. It's like you're gripping the sides of the side of your seat, because you feel like you're going as fast as he is. You feel like you're doing every motion that he is. This movie does a great job of letting you feel essentially everything that a pilot feels, especially in one of these fighter planes. Like, it's just crazy to see. Like, the flight scenes are absolutely incredible, but more than that, they're just shot absolutely, like, the movie's just gorgeous to look at. Like, the movie is absolutely shot beautifully with all types of scenery to look at. And the fighter scenes are just absolutely incredible. I mean, it's just great action. It's death-defying stunts. And the third act, for me, this is one of the best third acts in a movie in a very long time, because when it comes to, these big kind of summer blockbuster movies, or movies where, people are doing a lot of praise, it's sometimes like, for example, the Batman, the third act in the Batman for me was absolutely incredible, but I know some people kind of had, issues about it because it wasn't as intense as, the first two acts. It's always kind of hard for a movie to get all three phases of it correct. Like the first, the second, and the third act. It's kind of somewhere in between those acts, it's kind of some nitpicking where you can always find something there that just didn't really sit well with you. In this movie, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 are absolutely phenomenal, and they only get better. The movie gets better throughout it. Like, as they're going through this training, as they're getting ready for this mission they have to go on, it gets more intense throughout the movie. You feel the pressure that these guys feel, and once they're actually out there on the mission itself, we want them to come home. That becomes the main goal for us. Like, everybody in the theater, you want everybody to be able to get home safe, and it makes you more invested than you ever thought you would be in a Top Gun movie. And guys, like I said, this movie just outdoes itself in every sort of way. Like, for a sequel, I don't think a sequel has done what this movie has done since like Shrek 2 or Spider-Man 2. Like, this absolutely just soars over the original in every way possible. I mean, it's incredible. And it's crazy because the original is such a great movie. And when I was reading like everybody's reactions before I went in, everybody was saying this is like so much better than the original. What originally got me was I saw, shout out to John Campea, a big inspiration of mine. Once I saw his reaction to it, he said, all right, I'll just say it. He tweeted out, all right, I'll just say it. Top Gun Maverick is way better than Top Gun. I was like, whoa. I was like, way better. I'm like, everybody's going crazy over this thing. It's really like that? I'm like, wow. And nobody's exaggerating when they say this movie is cinema. Like that Martin Scorsese meme that says this is cinema. No, that's describing this movie. This movie is cinema, ladies and gentlemen. You are absolutely on the edge of your seat for one of the greatest thrill rides anybody's ever been on in the theater for 2 hours and 11 minutes or however long this movie is, and it flies by. The runtime, you don't even notice. You're paying attention to everything going on screen for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I praise this movie for that. I praise this movie for making use of every single minute, second, and frame that they had in this movie. Oh my gosh, guys. You're going to make me jump out of my seat here. The danger zone! Look, overall, guys, this is the best movie I've seen in 2022. I knew that immediately. I knew that an hour into this movie. I knew this absolutely walking out of the theater. I was kind of nervous because I was with my friends and I was watching it. I didn't necessarily want to say out loud, this is the best thing I've seen all year. Easily, there's no competition. I wanted to see where my friend's head was at. And then once we all walked out of the theater in unison and knew, like, we all looked at each other, we all knew, yeah, that was the best thing we've seen in a very long time. Like, it's okay to say it, guys. This is one of the best movies of 2022. This will probably be in my top 3. It'll probably be in my top 2. It'll probably be my 1. I don't know if I'll see a movie better than this year. I don't know if I'll see a movie that makes me feel as intense as I do. I need to see this movie at least like 3 or 4 more times. I absolutely loved every second of it. This is cinema. This is art. Tom Cruise has one of his best performances of his career. Miles Teller does a phenomenal job. Glenn Powell, my boy Jay Ellis from Insecure. I mean, oh my goodness. Ed Harris, Val Kilmer, shout out to him. This movie is absolutely phenomenal from start to finish, guys. One of the best movies I've seen all year. And for all those reasons, guys, and so many more, I'm going to give Top Gun Maverick a 5 out of 5 stars. Guys, thank you so much for watching my review. Top Gun Maverick, have you seen it? If you haven't, please get in your car right now and go to the theater. Come back, go into the comment section and let me know how much you loved it. And if I ever do find somebody that doesn't love this movie, I will probably block you. But still go see the movie because it's absolutely phenomenal. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair here. More content coming to you soon. I got Obi-Wan, Stranger Things, That Damn Michael Che all coming out this weekend on streaming. I got a lot of watching to do, guys, so videos will be coming out soon. Thank you guys so much.